man.
I got it. The border bill did what for an amnesty? It would have given amnesty to 10 million illegal aliens, yes?
Okay, again,
You asked, you said, why did Trump torpedo it? Because Trump cares about Americans more than foreigners. That's why. Okay?
Why did the GOP endorse it?
The GOP did not endorse
it. Bipartisan bill
Hold on a second. Senator Langford, who is a traitor to this country, endorsed it. Yeah?
Multiple GOP senators.
Okay,
and House
if you're trying to
endorsed
convince me that a bunch of rhinos got behind a bunch of border bill, we're going to talk past each other. Read the bill. I do not think D.C. or Washington, D.C. should pass a bill that says if you come into a country, you're given amnesty. And you disagree. I don't. By the way, if they're doing jobs, more the reason to kick them out, because those should be jobs given to Americans.
But the job.
You want one? Yeah, okay. We'll throw some more. Disagreements are welcome. If not, we'll keep it up. Just please tilt the mic up because you're taller than our usual question.
So what I want to know, of course, so Trump, when he was in office, had at a certain point he had control of both the Senate and the House, and yet there are many, many issues that are still going on.
Well, so you bring up a pretty good point and then a not good point. So let me give you the pretty good point. You're right. Trump should have done more with a unified House and the Senate. So Donald Trump did actually fix the border, and he did it without the U.S. Senate or House. He did it through executive orders and through executive direction. The border, when Donald Trump was president, had the lowest ever recorded border crossings into our country on the southern border. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it's the highest ever, right? And so
why did he veto the border bill then?
Okay, well, first of all,
he used his political power to...
Fair enough. How much do you know about the border bill?
So the border bill was endorsed by the Border Patrol agents, right?
First of all, that's not correct.
That is correct.
No, they came out and they said they totally denounced it.
Not Harris. They didn't endorse Harris. They endorsed the bill.
No, you can look at Brandon Judd's statement. He said that's one of the greatest misinformation lies. But let's talk about what actually it is. That bill...
I can pull it up.
Yeah, type in Brandon Judd, border bill.
I'm going to type in the Border Patrol endorsement of the bill.
Well, no, Brandon Judd is the one you should look at, okay? So anyway, what some union says or doesn't say is besides the point. So, but let me ask you this. For getting the Border Patrol's endorsement or not, mass amnesty was in the bill. It would have given amnesty to 10
Border
million...
Patrol union-backed Senate immigration bill despite House GOP.
Yes. What did Brandon Judd say about that?
So the National Border Patrol Council...
Right, but that's not the Border Patrol Union. Those are two different things, right?
They still have their endorsement, and again, you can't say they're Kamala's...
hold on a second. They retracted it soon after.
Kamala.
Just to be clear, though, it would have given amnesty to 10 million people in this country. Do you think that's a good idea?
Potentially, if they're working in this country.
You would give amnesty.
The majority of illegal immigration, 75% of illegal immigration is overstaying visas.
These are 10 million people that came. We're not even talking about the overstay visas. We're talking about people that came across the border. 10 million of them, uninvited. What would you do with them? Give them jobs?
If there's room for them to work.
Oh, this is a super important moral distinction, though. And that's fine. We have clarity, not agreement. You think the people in this audience should have to compete against foreigners for jobs. I think that you have a moral obligation to your own citizens to give them jobs before the people...
So
you say not? Okay.
We don't have to worry that you're making a dilemma that doesn't exist. There are more jobs right now in this nation than there was under Trump.
Hold on a second. First of all, not well-paying jobs, and they're not keeping up. Why do you think that wages aren't keeping up with inflation? Wages aren't keeping up with inflation because people in this audience have to compete against people that have come across the border. But let's just talk about the morals of it. Just the moral. So you would give amnesty for people that are and newcomers that just come in and cut in line.
I want to talk about the practical here, Charlie.
The border bill gave them amnesty. It is practical.
So
that's why Trump torpedoed it.
Is if they can help our nation, then we should let them.
Just let me ask you a moral question, because we can go back and forth. Do you think it should be
Again, Charlie, I'm not here to talk your talk. I'm here to talk the practical, which is
no. I am practical.
And they can work. No, we're not talking about moral here.
The only discussion is the moral. Do you think it should be illegal to come into the country?
That's not what you led with the moral. That's not what I led with. We're not moving this conversation.
No, we're going back to the border bill. Actually, no, I'm not strongmanning it. The border bill said
it's straw man, not strongman.
I got it. The border bill did what for an amnesty? It would have given amnesty to 10 million illegal aliens, yes?
Okay, again,
So you said, why did Trump torpedo it? Because Trump cares about Americans more than foreigners. That's why. Okay?
Why did the GOP endorse it?
The GOP did not
was it a
endorse it.
bipartisan bill at
Hold on a second. Senator Langford, who is a traitor to this country, endorsed it. Yeah?
Multiple GOP senators.
Okay,
and House
if you're
members
trying to
endorsed
convince me that a bunch of rhinos got behind a bunch of border bill, we're going to talk past each other. Read the bill. I do not think D.C. or Washington, D.C. should pass a bill that says if you come into a country, you're given amnesty. And you disagree. I don't. By the way, if they're doing jobs, more the reason to kick them out, because those should be jobs given to Americans.
But the job market is higher now than it has ever been. The stock market is higher now than it has
Hold
ever
on.
been.
Let's hold on. Do you guys think the economy is better or worse?
We're not.
You are living on a cloud, man. Listen to the people of this country. They can't afford things. The job market is awful. The economy is terrible. Stop reading the New York Times and start talking to American voters.
Yeah.
And you understand how insane you sound? The economy is better. People are telling you they can't afford stuff.
Yeah, inflation is high now because Trump spent more than any president on the debt in 4-year period.
Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say, folks. This kid is absolutely freaking insane. He's delusional. I mean, Charlie Kirk is absolutely incredulous. But there are so many like him. I would be willing to put money, absolutely, that this young man comes from a family of money, a family of immense privilege. He's probably thinking to himself that the job that he's looking at is not going to be affected by the millions of illegal aliens that are in here. He's not going to be competing with those people for whatever job that he's looking at. So for him, it doesn't affect his life at all. So he can wake up every single morning in his dorm or in his apartment room, go to his drawer, pull out his halo, get his towel, polish off that halo, stick it in his back, walk around with his social justice warrior attitude, his virtue signaling elite white privilege, of which he basically is just, I mean, it is just dripping with white liberalism. And so he can virtue signal to everybody out there that he's good because he thinks it's okay to have illegal aliens have jobs in place of American citizens. Because that just sounds good. It sounds great. You know, he's hugging the whole world. That's what happens to so many kids when they come to college. And then basically saying that no, it was Trump that spent this money. It was Trump's economy that carried over into Biden's economy. And so, you know, Trump gets blamed after he's out of office. Trump gets blamed while he's in office. Trump gets blamed regardless of whether he's in or out of office. And when Charlie said, stop reading the New York Crimes, that's an insult, folks. That's an absolute insult. That's one of those one of those. I mean, when Charlie says college is a scam, I mean, the indoctrination, this kid was probably indoctrinated well before he came to college. And it just continued upon, you know, getting his master's and PhD in I hateism America. You know, I hate capitalism, except when it works for me. You know, I hate it. I hate Republicans. I hate conservatives. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyways, folks, you're watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasser. If you're getting good content material out of this, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, follow. Y'all know what to do. Let's get back to Charlie Kirk and this young delusional man talking about how it's better for American citizens to lose jobs and status to people that have come here illegally.
It's Trump's fault that inflation is high 4 years later.
as you would come to realize, I'd hope in your role that economies are reactionary forces. It takes time for things to be implemented.
Got it. So nothing is Biden's fault. Everything is Trump's fault.
We'll see Biden's impact largely in the next 3 or 4 years.
It really is remarkable, the power of propaganda. It's fine. Do you think that Kamala Harris and Biden are successful?
It depends on what metric. But economy-wise...
No, I actually do agree. They are a huge success in destroying the country. I totally agree.
So if you look at economists, right, some of the nations, actually many of the nation's leading economists have endorsed Kamala Harris for presidency because they say that Trump will ruin the economy.
Then why didn't he ruin it the first time?
He did.
Trump ruined the economy?
Again, it's reactionary forces. What Trump did is he handled...
So let me just ask one final thing. What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment? I think it depends on who you ask, but I would say...
You.
Yeah, I would say it was cutting child poverty in half.
She did that?
The Biden administration, her and Biden did that, yes. And that was...
How did she do that?
So the child tax credit, basically from COVID...
Oh, you mean the one from the Trump tax cut?
It's not from the Trump tax cut.
Yeah, it is actually.
No.
Yeah, it's actually from the tax cut from
This
December
kid's a
of 2017.
moron.
The one that Kamala Harris is running against is the one that you're touting right now.
No, it's not the case at all, Charlie. You can lie, but...
No, I mean, you're just totally wrong.
I encourage everyone to look up the child tax credit right now on your phones.
Yeah, the child tax credit was part of the
And look
Trump
on what
tax
bill
cut.
it was passed. Look what year it was passed.
It was during the... Yeah, it was 2017, literally. Donald Trump expanded the child tax cut credit in 2017. Final question. Do you think that Kamala Harris would do a better job the next 4 years than Donald Trump? If so, why? To make the case. I'm curious.
Okay, so I would agree that Harris would do a much better job than Trump for a variety of reasons. Again, if you look at our current track record for coming out of the COVID and the Trump policy, we have the most amount of jobs. We have the highest paying stock market. We have child poverty that's cut in half. We have the most... Yes, again, the tax credit. So we have multiple reasons. And then if you look at the case against Trump, you'll see that multiple economists have said that Trump will ruin the economy, right, including Nobel Prize winners.
They're all morons.
This is actually really instructive.
Yes.
And thank you for embodying it so perfectly, which is that
being a moron.
like everyday people are no longer buying the rubbish that everything's fine, everything's great. Young people can't afford homes.
Right, because if you here in Montana specifically,
no, every state has seen housing prices go up, but not just that. It's that energy prices are up. It is harder than ever to be able to have a family. We have a fertility crisis.
Let's take Montana for example. Northwestern energy prices are going up under a Republican board of commissioners, despite having a budget surplus this year of over $2 billion.
I don't know about that. I'm sure somebody else can comment on that. But going back to the macro trends across the country. Donald Trump, when he was president, lower income earners saw their incomes go up the most. Young people were flourishing, lowest ever black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, Asian American unemployment. We saw an economic renaissance and a miracle. But here's the point. Here's actually the kicker. Here's how I know I'm right. Is that when American people are asked outside of the economists, 70% of people think the Trump economy is better than actually what's happening now. So you're living on an island.
If you look at
so are people wrong? No. Hold on.
Look at real
Answer the question.
Compared to inflation. I encourage everyone
are these
to look
people
this up.
wrong?
Statistica, great source.
Are these
real wage growth compared to inflation is higher under the Biden administration?
Are 70% of the people here or the country wrong when they say Trump was better at the economy?
Again, look it up. I encourage everyone.
No,
Statistica.com. Real wage growth to inflation.
Are these people wrong when they say that the economy was better under Trump?
Montana is distinct from the nation itself.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. We have the highest housing increases out of any compared to wage under Gianforte. So we compared to average wage growth. Or an average
this
wages,
kid is just delusional.
It takes more to buy a house here in Montana than anywhere else in the nation. That includes California. That includes...
No, it's fine. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. And it's just, this is the divide, is that 70% of the country is saying, I'm suffering and I'm struggling. And
then you said, look around us. These are Montanans. Let's talk about Montana.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. They vehemently think you're totally on an island here. And let me just say, though, that this is what's happening in the country. 70% of the country is saying, please help us, we can't afford stuff. And a small oligarchy is saying, you're dumb, listen to the Nobel Prize